Welcome to this free drum lesson. Today I'm going to show you one of my favourite songs, 6 Underground by Sneaker Pimps, drummed by Dave Westlake, and 20 bonus points if you, when you first heard this song, recognised where the original sample came from. Write it in the comments below. So first of all, I just want to talk about the way I've transcribed this for you. On the recording, you've got this, what I think is a looped drum part, and then the drum fills, and then later in the choruses with the ride cymbal and some of the bell patterns. These sound like they're either electronic or overdubbed parts. So this interpretation, this chart I've written out for you is how a drummer, you or me, could play it as close to the recording as possible. And by the way, I've got the full song chart for you to download from my website for free. Both pages, the PDF, you can download from my website. You find a link beneath this video. And you might want to have this printed out in front of you as we go through this together. It's going to hopefully make things a little bit clearer for you to understand. And you're going to start to see some of the very slight subtleties and nuances in this song. For example, the drum fills aren't always the same. The first time I listened to this, I was like, oh, actually, that drum fill's different to that drum fill, and it sort of surprised me a little bit. There's actually a little bit of nuance here. But we'll get to those sections in a moment. Let's take a look at the actual main drum beat of the song. And I've written at the top of the chart, all 16th notes are swung throughout. So the E's and the U's of each beat are swung. So we've got the straight eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and there's some notes in between the E's and the U's that are swung. 1 the and, 2 the and, 3 the and, 4 the and. So there's 16th notes, shuffle, swing throughout the song. And the main drum beat, we got eighth notes on the hi-hat and snare drum on beats 2 and 4, and it's the bass drum that we're going to sort of hear bouncing around and swinging, if you like. The first half of the bar is the same as the second half of the bar. We've got 1 and 2 E, a 3 and 4 E, a 1 and 2 E, a 3, and you can hear that swing. Especially when you get the... By the way, if you're not comfortable playing that technique where you're playing two bass drum notes really close to each other, you could take out the bass drum on the of 2 and the of 4 and just play. I mean, that'd get you through the song, but on the recording we get... So that's our main drum beat for the song. The choruses are slightly different, as we'll see. That gets played 3 times for the intro line, and then the 4th bar we get our first drum fill, and it starts in the second half of the bar. And to replicate this sort of extreme effect that I'm hearing, I'm playing the snare drum on beat 3, and then for the only time in the song we get this E and on the bass drum, 3 E ands. And then we get this sort of unique drum fill that's repeated many times throughout the song. We get a 4, left, right at your high tom, a 4, and then the snare drum on the and a beat 4. And this is the only time it's played in the song, and. So we get 1 and 2 E, a 3 E and a 4, and. By the way, you can still hear the hi-hat being played over the top, which is why it suggests to me that this drum fill was overdubbed, because you can still hear that hi-hat note being played on beat 4 with the tom, but that's not important. What's important is the tom, not the hi-hat note. Like I said a second ago, that snare drum on the and beat 4, you probably want to play this drum fill every time. At the end, whenever you'll see it's unique to the song. It comes up quite a lot. But actually, it's the only time you do actually hear that snare drum on the and beat 4. So slowly the whole bar, 1 and 2 E, a 3 E and a 4, and 1 and 2 E, a 3 E and a 4, and 1. You can sort of hear it now. Lovely little drum fill that. So then we go on to verse 1 where we continue with our main groove. But before we do that, let me play for you the first four bars, the first line of the song up to speed without the microphone on so you can hear just the drums. So when it goes into verse 1, 4 bars of the groove, the second line is the same, and then bar 4 of the second line we get our next drum fill, and this is what I was talking about earlier on, about that snare drum not appearing on the and beat 4, and also it was kind of hard to hear underneath it exactly what the bass drum's doing underneath these drum fills. So in this drum fill, we don't get the E and, we just get the and beat 3, and then I've left out the bass drum part for the rest of the drum fill because it's not as dominant as the groove bass drum part. So we get 1 and 2 E, a 3 and a 4 and it's that and a 4 there that I was talking about a second ago. No snare drum on the and beat 4, although if I was playing along to this or you were playing along to this, I probably would play the and a 4 every time on the snare drum because it's like I said, quite unique to the song. But if you listen carefully to the recording, it's just the hi-hat on the and a 4. So we actually get 1 and 2 E, a 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 E, a 3 and a 4. I've accented the hi-hat so we can make that a little bit stronger. It actually does go into a crash cymbal on the next line. 1 and 2 E, 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 E. So then we go on to the chorus, as I said, and for the first time, the first chorus, it's all just played on the hi-hat. And the entire chorus, both lines, we're just playing the same verse groove all the way through. We then go into the bridge 1, and we actually get a hi-hat note starting with the first bass drum note on beat 1. So from the previous bar, the last bar of chorus 1, 1 and 2 E, a 3 and 4 E, a 1 and. You could play 1 and, or you could just play 1 and, but and it does change throughout the song, by the way. But on the recording, I just heard the 1 hi-hat note being played, so 3, 4, 1 and 2. And some of those bass drums are quite quiet in the mix. So we just get 1 and at the beginning of each of those bars for bridge 1. And then we get bar 4 where we get the 1 and, but then we come back in with the groove 4 and on beat 4. To replicate that effect, I'm playing the snare and crash together, and you do actually hear the hi-hat being played on the and beat 4, so I've included that as well. 4 and 1 and 2 E, a 3 and 4, and we're back in with our groove. And as we're going to see later on, sometimes at the end of the bridges we do get some extra bass drum notes. So then we go on to the second half of bridge 1, and if we take a look at the 4th bar, the second line, we actually get another little variation. That effect occurs again on beat 4, 4 E, but we get the bass drum in between it, 4 E and an extra little snare drum, surprise, popping out there on the of beat 4. So 1 and 2 E, a 3 and 4 E and a 1 and 2 E, a 3 and 4 E and a 1 and 2 E, a 3 and 4 E and a 1. Into our next line, or into our next section, verse 2, where we get more of the verse groove. Bar 4 of the first line has the same idea, so that gets repeated again. And then for the second line of verse 2, for the 4th bar, we get, what is it? It's exactly the same drum fill as we had at the end of verse 1. That same thing, and last time I mentioned it, you could play the snare drum on the and beat 4, I probably would. So then we go into chorus 2, and I've written there, note the hi-hat can still be heard, because we're actually playing up on the right cymbal. When I was transcribing this, I had to decide what was the most important thing here. And I think for the energy of the song, as you build up the last 2 choruses, you can hear the right cymbal, so let's play it, even though the hi-hat is still quite loud in the mix, especially because we get to play around with the bell of the right cymbal, which gives all these kind of cool nuances to the drum parts. So we're going to play up on the right cymbal, and we're playing exactly the same groove with the bass drum and snare drum. 1 and 2 E, a 3 and 4 E, a 1 and 2 E, except we get some little shuffled variations with the right hand on the ride. And our first example occurs at the end of the first bar with the and a 1. So we actually get 1 and 2E, a 3 and 4E and a 1. And that can be a little bit tricky because you're playing and a 1 and you're getting and a 1 on the bass drum as well. So that's a little subtlety there to look out for if you want to play it note for note. If you can't play that, don't worry too much, just keep the ride cymbal straight on 8 notes all the way through. Second bar is our ride cymbal groove, and then bar 3 we also get the and a 1 thing. But then we go into bar 4, and I sort of, in my mind, I sort of link the 2 bars together because we then get this electronic bell, I think it's electronic effect on the and a beat 1. So we actually get from bar 3 to bar 4, 1 and 2E, a 3 and 4E and a 1 and 2E, a 3 and 4E and 1 and 2E, a 3 and 4E and a 1 and 2E and a 1 and 1 and 2E, a 3 and 4E and a 1 and. So look out for that little subtlety there. That's a lot of fun to play though. You've got the and a 1 and into the bell there. So the next line, I'll play this up to speed for you in a moment. Page 2, we continue with chorus 2 continued, and bars 1 and 2 have the same idea. Then bar 3, a variation, we get and a 3. So instead of it being at the end of the bar, it's in the middle of the bar. 1 and 2E and a 3 and 1 and 2E and a 3 and 4E a 1. Look out for that. And then bar 4, we have 3 ands. So it's kind of different feel. Playing 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4 is different feel to 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E. So you might find it a little bit weird, a little bit jilting going from the ander to the 3 E ands. We just get 3 E ands, 1 and 2 E, a 3 E and 4 E and a 1. And we get 4 E ands, and it actually goes into a crash cymbal this time, bridge 2, where we get our next section. So from bar 4, 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and, oops, 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and 4 E and a 1. 1 and 2 E, a 3 E and 4 E, 4 E and a 1. I want to play the crash cymbal. Don't worry, I'll play this properly for you in a second. So, bridge 2, we get the 1 and 2, 3. Bar 2 is completely rested. Bar 3 has the 2 bass drums, and then going into verse 3, the end of the bridge 2, we get the same ideas from the previous bridge, 4 and, but then we do get the extra little bass drum note skipping on the of beat 4. 4 and a 1 and 2E. So a little subtlety there. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2E, a 3 and 4E. So listen out for that if you want to play it note for note. So we've got a lot of stuff going on there. Let me play this up to speed for you. I'm going to play from page 1 the whole of the chorus 2 and bridge 2 so we can hear what that section sounds like, hopefully played properly for you. So then we go into verse 3, back to our hi-hat groove. Notice the verse 3 is a slightly shorter verse. The second line is only 2 bars, and we get for the second bar 1 and 2E, a 3 and a 4, and that drum fill again. Then we go into chorus 3. Again, I've decided to play it up on the ride cymbal, especially because of the cool bell things that are going on. We get the and a 1 at the end of bar 1 and at the end of bar 3. Going into bar 4 where we get the and a beat 4 on the bell. So bars 3 and 4, last time I do it for you, 1 and 2E, a 3 and 4E and a 1 and 2E. Line 2, we get bars 1 and 2, the and a 1 and idea going on. Bar 3 of the second line has the and a 3. Listen out for that. And then bar 4, we get a drum fill. We get 1 and 2 E, a 3 and a 4 ands. And it's actually, instead of in previous drum fills where we had the hi-hat being struck, it's actually the bell or the bell effect being played on the and a beat 4. We go into a crash on the next line. Line 3, and for the last 2 lines, I might be wrong, you might be able to hear differently, but I couldn't really hear what if there are extra little swung ride cymbal notes being played. The only one that's really obvious to me is at the end, the very last bar of chorus 3. So if you want to sort of repeat the ideas from the first 2 lines where you're playing these shuffled ride cymbal patterns, then you can do that, but it's really only the bell that stood out for me. So line 3, bar 2, we get this idea: 1 and 2 E, a 3 and 4 E, and a 1 and. So it's just the ands on the bell, and excuse me, the same for bar 4 of that line. The last line, we get the last 2 bars, a cool variation with the bell. We get the and a beat 4 in bar 3. Which I just showed you, and then bar 4 we get the and a 3, which I definitely did here: 1 and 2 E and a 3 and 4 E and a 1 and. So we get this lovely and a 3 and the and a 4 on the bell, taking us out into the outro. So bars 3 and 4 are fun to play together: 1 and 2 E, a 3 and 4 E and a 1 and 2 E and a 3 and 4 E and a 1 and. Let me just bell the first time: 1 and 2 E, a 3 and 4 E and a 1 and. And we actually get a 1 and. So the outro bar there, I didn't hear a hi-hat. A 1 and 2, 3, 4. And we actually come back in rather quickly for that bar with the snare and crash on beat 4. We're on the outro now. And then those next 4 bars are just the verse groove on the closed hi-hat. We then get the very last line where I did hear 2 very subtle, quiet hi-hat notes on 1 and. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and then the next 3 bars is just 1 and on the bass drum, and that takes us to the end of the song. So before we finish, let me play for you the last line of chorus 3, because that's where all the action's sort of happening, and then the whole of the outro, and to the end of the song. Here we go. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com. Don't forget to download the free PDF that came with this lesson. Again, the link is beneath this video. And while you're over at the website, you might want to consider signing up to become an online member. And what I currently offer for £97 is a full year's online access to every single full video song lesson I've ever recorded and transcribed. That's coming up to almost 750 famous and popular songs where, just like this lesson, I teach you the song from start to finish. You get the fully transcribed PDF drum charts. And like I said, I've got almost 750 famous and popular songs, and I'll probably do some more Sneaker Pimps. There's at least one more song that I want to do of theirs. And so thank you for signing up. I'll give you access to 3 ebooks I've written over the years, which contain hundreds of famous drum beats, fills, and even drum solos. I'll give you access to hundreds more little videos teaching you even more famous drum beats, fills, and drum solos. And then over the year of your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material that I upload for my members. And I record new lessons every week unless I'm ill or on holiday. So you've got plenty of cool stuff to look forward to over the year of your subscription. But if you've got any questions about any of that, then feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com. And until our next drum lesson together, toodle pip and happy drumming to you.